Hey friend,
Hey girl,
how you doing today?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm blessed, okay? It's been a great September is starting out wonderfully already.
Yes,
And
congrats on all your beautiful blessings.
and that's what we're not here to talk about, those things. We're here to talk about the journey today. Sometimes when big things happen in your life, you have to take a step back and realize that all of, the shitty things that happen along the way, they had to happen
Right.
because without those things you would not be here, and that is truly the testament of my life at this moment. Without the past 5 years, I would not be here. And it's funny because I was doing some research for our guest today, and I watched her TED talk, and it was all about purpose and the things happening along the way that lead you to your purpose. And so when I first came out of college 5 years ago, I was really in a space where I was like, okay, I got my degree now. Next thing off the checklist is let's find a job. Working, trying to find a job, slanging shoes at Nike on the weekends and on the days in between, and really just trying to figure out life, and things were not happening the way they were supposed to. Then, I had a parent become very ill, and we have to deal with all of that. And, then you find a job and what it seems perfect, and you're happy and it's wonderful. And then I lost it. And in that moment that I lost it, I was like, well, one, I was super happy because it
You
was
hated
it was a
it.
terrible situation. But in those, after the initial happiness wore off and after my severance pay had dwindled down, I was like, okay,
What's
what are
next?
we doing? What's next here for me? And that was in 2018. And so for the past 2 years, it's been figuring out what's next, figuring out what steps I need to take, having very difficult conversations with myself. Because if you are not talking to yourself, you're not crazy. If you talk to yourself, you gotta, if you're not having those internal check-ins with you, like, then what are you doing it for? If nobody could, if you can't check yourself,
Mhm.
then what how are you growing? But
Absolutely.
a lot of conversations with myself about, okay, Erica, what is it that you want to do? How, what is your purpose here? And there were a lot of difficult down times. There were times where I was just worried. And what I've learned most about through these 5 years is that worry is not going to get you anywhere, because you're not trusting God if you worrying.
Mm. First off, in the last 5 months, 6 months is when I realized that I can't worry about shit.
I
Okay.
can't worry about nothing. Exactly. If the pandemic has taught us anything, is that we can't worry about anything. And it's some way, somehow, it's like as soon as I just said, you know what, take a step back, give it to God, like that's when things started falling into place. And now I'm in a place where I know and I have accepted what my purpose is. And I've stepped out of the fear that I had covered myself in trying to avoid that. I was a whole journalism major in college. You know how many times I avoided trying to damn write?
That's not
Like,
what you wanted to
that's
do.
that's that's and now I realize that I'm just like typical Aquarius. I don't like being told what to do. I don't like being told what to write. And that's why I wasn't really feeling it. But still, I spent that whole time just trying to figure out the easy way out, trying to figure out how I can avoid this, but also still make this grand, exorbitant amount of money. You know what I'm saying? And not without having to put in the work.
Mm-hmm.
And now, like, I'm not afraid of that work anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not afraid of, what's to come and the things that I'll have to do, to get where I want to be, because I know that once I get there,
So good.
it's over with. I feel so overjoyed right now, and I have never been so excited about what's to come. So y'all, I just want to tell y'all, if y'all are in a place where things are, I mean, and I'm sure this is for a lot of us, we are living in a time of COVID where things are unsure, where, your pockets are not looking like you wanted them to look, where your things in your household are not, on stable ground. Like, please hold on. Please keep the faith. Please don't make drastic decisions. Please don't, because I was close. Please don't, forget that God has placed you here on this earth for a reason.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't put, it sounds so cliche, but he doesn't put us through anything that we cannot handle. He has built us up for the things. He has written our book, all of the climaxes and turns and plot twists and things like that. And he would not have written those things for you if he knew you couldn't handle it. So
Yeah, I'm happy that you had a great revelation for us this morning, because I just started the first day of this purpose driven 30-day challenge with Annie, or Andrea Page Rouse, who went to Howard with us as well. She'd be going by her whole name. So I'm like, let me give her her whole name.
okay.
But Andrea Page on Instagram, and she started like a Bibles and Bodies journey. So it's like every day we read a scripture in the morning or whatever. I mean, you go at your own pace, because obviously I'm on the West Coast, so I'll be like, girl, I'm not gonna be able to make the Zoom call, but I'm here. So we do like a workout every day, and then like she gives you like a grocery list. But today the verse was from Corinthians, and it says, "Do all things for God's glory." And so she asked that you either pray or journal based upon like that, and that be your prayer
Mm-hmm.
theme. And I was thinking about that. I'm like, dang, like when you do anything, like it says, do all things in God's glory,
Mm-hmm.
or for God's glory. But it's like anything. That's what you put in your
Yeah.
body. That's what and when you start thinking about it that way, intentionally, what you say, how you react, what you do, like everything is like full circle. It's like all of these things matter. Every step that you take, all the choices that you make, everything, all of those things, the things that you say to yourself. I had to catch myself, because I was like, I text her, I'm like, I'm terrible. I missed the Zoom call. I said, oh, I'm sorry. I'm not terrible. I feel terrible for missing the Zoom call,
Right.
but I'm not terrible. Just
Right.
like changing the way that we view things and we say things.
Mm-hmm.
If you walk in God's glory, then
Mm-hmm.
that's what will be given to you. So I'm grateful that you said that, and
Yes.
that we started the word off today with that. Come on,
Yes.
somebody.
Also, just real quick thing, if you like, sometimes it takes you, because sometimes we think we know what the hell it is that we want to do, like, and it's not what it's supposed to be. So I think sometimes you have to sit up there and ask God, okay, what is it that you want me to do? What is your how can I fulfill your purpose? And I started asking myself recently, like, with writing, how can I translate that into God's purpose for me, and moving in, not necessarily in a godly way, because I'm still very much on a Christian journey. Your girl cusses. I do. I'm not there yet.
No one is without sin, honey
No
girl.
one
Honey
is
girl
without.
poop.
Okay, I'm on that list, but um, it's about, I had to think about, how can I put something positive into the world? How can I bless others through my gift? And I think once you start to frame it that way, then it will be revealed to you what that gift is.
Absolutely. Amen.
Amen and amen again.
All right. Well, hey, girlfriend.
Hey girl.
It's Sammy.
Hey y'all, it's E, and we're back for another episode of Girlfrans podcast, this time with a very, very special guest. So happy to have her on, Hope Wiseman. Welcome.
Welcome.
Hey guys.
Yay. Insert some applause here. Uh, thank you so much for coming on. So Hope is gonna, chill out with us for a little bit. We're gonna, get into some things later, but we're gonna go about the show as normal. We have a WCW every week. Samantha, do you have a WCW this week? Or Hope, do you have one? Would you like to go first?
I'd say I gotta go with my girl Kamala right now. A lot of people want me to hate her because of some of the, her previous choices and how that relates directly to my industry, being in the cannabis industry even. But I do not. I support her all the way right now. And I'm excited that, we're going to have a Black woman vice president. And I think it's just one more glass ceiling that we are shattering.
Mm-hmm.
And we are on our way all the way to the top. So I'm so
Absolutely.
excited to see it.
1000%. I agree. Yeah, I'm super excited about Kamala myself. And they're not going to get me to hate Kamala because it's just.
Yeah, I mean, I don't get, I understand where it comes from, especially when it comes to me and like my industry and how some decisions she's made have directly impacted. So I definitely understand, but I hope everyone else understands that, you know, your decisions, the things that you do in your career and your life, especially when it comes, we use the term
So
politics, you know, in everything, right? So this is like real life politics.
Right.
And she was trying to make it to the highest level of this. She was a
Exactly.
prosecutor. That was her job. So I look at it like, you know, I won't give my opinion on everything she's ever done. But I look at it like, I mean, we're talking like this is real life politics. You don't know why people make the decisions that they do, whose money, you know, whose hands is in whose pockets, but none of that matters right now. We are out here trying to get the orange man out of office.
Exactly.
Get him out of there.
Yeah, we getting him out of there. We are focused on, you know, women empowerment. We are focused on shattering glass ceilings as Black people. I mean, and she has the package to be able to do all that. So
Exactly.
I'm supporting her right now.
1000%. I love that you brought that up. Everybody can't be a defense attorney, guys. You know, we can't say we want people in the room and then get mad when somebody's in the room carrying out, you know, laws and things that were put in place before she was born.
Right.
Exactly.
So anyway, Samantha, do you have?
Well, my WCW was Hope because we're featuring Hope.
Yes.
This has been a long time coming. I feel just to have you on the podcast. We reached out, or I think your people reached out to us a year or so, maybe 2 years ago.
Yeah, like 2 years ago.
It was 2 years ago. And it just never connected. But I think it's perfect timing. Everything is perfectly timed. So I just wanted to first just like, you know, spotlight Hope and just let you guys know a little bit more about her. We'll obviously get more in detail later on in the episode, but if you don't know, she's the youngest Black woman dispensary owner, straight from PG County, and Marion, Maine dispensary. And I think that's like a big part of what I personally would like to talk about throughout that episode. It's just like the cannabis industry, being a woman in the cannabis industry, but that alone, that one byline is like a big deal, because we know for one, you're not only a Black person in the cannabis industry, but you're also a female, a woman in the in the cannabis industry as well. And from my experience of just talking to, I know only about 2 other women who are like extremely focused in cannabis out this way on this coast. And when I talked to them, you know, they were telling me about all of the different factors they had, all of the hurdles they had to hop over, similar to any other industry for women, to be completely honest, but very different because we are not supposed to win in this space, which is, you know, ironic that, you know, they put us in jail for it, but they profit from it directly. So those things, of course, amongst many of things that you've been featured in, you know, many publications, and just a really dope woman creating a path for herself in a space that is not necessarily built for her, right? And so, yes, I wanted to make sure that Hope was my WCW this week. It was very well going to be Brandy and Monica, but I was just like, you know what,
I figure we get into them in the What Y'all. We can get into them later.
Did you watch Hope?
I did. I was, if I can be honest, I was extremely underwhelmed. My goodness.
Really? We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. Stick her face.
I was like, damn, I'm bored. Okay, go ahead.
No, really quickly, my WCW this week is Robin Roberts. And I've, someone who is, you know, had a past journalism life, she's been a great inspiration to me just throughout her career, and the things that she's accomplished fighting cancer and things like that. But it really got me to thinking because I was watching the Chadwick Boseman tribute. Rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman, first of all.
Right. We didn't even acknowledge that. I forgot.
That knocked the wind out of me. But she was hosting it. One, I thought that was so impactful as a cancer survivor that she, you know, was able to shine a light on him. But honestly, just such a talented journalist. So, you know, everything is well thought out. Everything is researched as it should be. And I think in today, where the media is so much under scrutiny and there are so many things that we could say about a lot of our high profile members of the media, you have Robin Roberts, who's out here doing it right and doing it well. And so I just have to spotlight her for that, because she really handled that with care, with the utmost care.
Awesome.
And I appreciate that. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see the tribute, but
Oh,
I couldn't stomach it.
Girl, you know what? It wasn't that bad. One, I have to give props to ABC because they pulled that together very quickly. And
yeah, because I'm like, it came out like literally
like the day after.
Yeah.
But they got it together really quickly, and they did it really. It was good. It wasn't
good.
Like as sad as I thought it was gonna.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, yes. What y'all been on? So we know we got to get into some music. We got to get into. We might as well just start with the Verzuz last night.
Yeah.
Well, if you're listening to this 2 days ago, but the Verzuz, Brandy versus Monica, is what everybody was waiting on. Hope says that she was underwhelmed. I'm curious to hear why.
Yes.
I just was really expecting a little bit more of a performance from both of them. I know no one sings really on Verzuz. They kind of do a little bit, but
they
like,
do, though.
I remember the first. Yeah, they got to do something. Like I remember the first Verzuz battle that I was like, oh my gosh, was T-Pain, and Lil Jon, right?
Mm-hmm.
And T-Pain had me so hype. I was like dancing in my house, but he's like running around his room. Like, it was extra because it's T-Pain, but like,
right.
I just like that element of performance was like, that made it, that made it. And I feel like a lot of other people like gave me a little bit more, for them to, I was just confused. I was like, Brandy, are you channeling Moesha? And then
She
Monica, can you breathe?
Like, that's what it was. That's genuinely what it was. That's what I was telling E last night. I said she's not singing because she cannot breathe in that quartet.
But she was. But then there was points where she was singing. Like
no. She totally came in with some sad. Because I told you I came in the middle, or not the middle, but I came in. I didn't watch from the beginning. And when I came in, from my perspective, Brandy was doing a lot, and Monica was trying her hardest not to cut a fool in there and punch her again. That's what I felt. That's the energy that I felt in that little time that I watched till the end. But then after kind of going back and like seeing some of the earlier clips and stuff, I was like, oh, they just had tension throughout the entire thing. And Brandy, awkward ass, didn't know what to do. So she was just being awkward. Yeah. And that's what the whole Verzuz became, was just awkward. And then they had people in the back. Like, to me, I get it. I think that is the element that changed this whole thing. Say that you're trying to make it a bigger production. I like that it's on Apple Music and everything. But once you start adding all the factors, you got your family back here. They saying little snide shit on the side. Like, I already know that the energy there, we don't know exactly what was going on. And so you could see just like behavioral patterns, like, okay, they're both really uncomfortable right now, probably with each other. And so, no, they're not about to be performative at all. But I do think that a lot of what I told E last night, I think that a lot of what Brandy was doing was very performative. It was like, and not in a way of like performing her songs, but like acting. Yeah. It was just like not genuine. And Monica don't give that type of energy. She's going to give you who she is. Oh, she said it. I'm going to give you who I am all the time. I don't really give a fuck. But Brandy, on the other hand, is just like this perfectionist, this like, I have it all together. Like, so... what are the kids saying nowadays? Like, Brandy, it's okay.
Yeah. You know what the kids are saying because you have a kid in these days. Like you and Ciroc.
But she didn't want to be wrong. She didn't want to be wrong.
I couldn't handle the Ciroc in the middle that nobody was drinking. I was like, all right.
I said, what is the
Y'all
point?
Y'all could at least gave him a Ciroc cup of water.
Right. A little sip of something.
I don't know. I wish they would have taken
placement.
I wish they would have taken a shot, a couple. They should just loosen up.
I'm certain that Monica took a shot.
Monica,
she probably was out there.
Monica did not do a good job at hiding her face. There were so many times where I was like, "Oh, she's like
mad."
Yeah,
she wants to get up right now and leave.
But that's the thing. You know, she is the epitome of a city girl, of Atlanta city girl to me, and she don't know. We don't know how to hide our face. No, we're not fucking with something, we're not fucking with it. I'm sorry.
It's like, I'm not sorry. We're gonna be cute with you until you say something left. You can kind of like it literally Brandy came right out the gate. Talking about how she got smacked up. First of all, if anybody beat my ass, I'm not gonna tell you.
Talking about it publicly? We know. We
That's not gonna
know.
be public information.
Dallas Austin already made it public. Deny.
Okay. You did what? I'm gonna talk shit. You gonna want to beat my ass again because I'm gonna talk shit like I didn't get my ass beat the first time. Okay. Brandy up here talking about, yeah, I know you was smacking chicks. And Monica's
overall,
like, girl, well, why?
Why
yeah,
you do that?
why
overall, the music, I personally enjoyed every song from both sides. I'm a huge fan of Brandy as a vocalist, so I was already team Brandy out the gate. I think, you know, where my perspective comes in, because I'm looking at it like Carson, California, Atlanta, Georgia, and just the type of behaviors that we have on both sides, and the way that people handle things on this side of the coast and the way people handle things down south are very different. So that's kind of where I was coming in looking like, now really, Brandy, you just I don't know about that.
No, I too was team Brandy, and I was very pleased. Like I love both of them
so much.
You know, but Brandy just had a bigger, I think, stamp on our childhood overall. Like, you grew up in the late 90s.
And if you love music.
And if you love music, like, you know, I did really love the conversations that they were having around their music.
For sure.
And just like around their vocal abilities and things like that, because you can tell that both of them do have a great deal of respect for each other.
And they're heavily influenced by Whitney. You know, like both of them both have like their vocal capabilities are there. But in terms of, you know, the range.
Yeah, I said this on Twitter last night, I think, where I was gonna call her Moesha, child, because that's how she was acting, child. She turned Tyler Perry Studios into the den. I thought somebody was gonna bring her a smoothie. But where Brandy has the tone, Monica has the clarity. And I think that's where, like, and that's why I love hearing them sing together, because it just sounds so good together. When you put those two things.
I also think that where Brandy lacks emotion, Monica has like true. It's like the authenticity, because, and I know a lot of, like, my niece is more of a Brandy vocalist than. And not because she doesn't have any emotion, but because, like, she's a perfectionist. So it's like, okay, I gotta get this run right, like, sweet-doo-doo-doo-doo-dee. But over here, Monica's like, whatever comes out, I'm one take shawty, like, that's just what it is. And I think that authenticity with, like, that rawness with that, like, theory from both ends, it's like, it works so perfectly.
Yeah. It was so great. It was a beautiful night for them. First of all, we have to give them, we up here talking about their attitudes and shit, but they held on to 1 million viewers.
Oh, did they? Because I was watching from Apple.
Yes, for 3 hours.
They had at least 1 million viewers the entire time.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Even in their little intermission, where they
and that was all.
That was all. And give us a one wish or something.
One wish, right? He was back there.
Wait a minute, like, I don't know. You know,
what else you been listening to? What's new this week? It's been a lot of music that came out. I wanted to talk about Lettucey.
Talk about it. I haven't gotten into that. You told me about it and I downloaded it, but I haven't listened.
Listen, y'all know I love Lettucey. The Wild Card, she came out with a whole album for y'all. And obviously, like, I can't say that, like, it just came out. So I'm not going to be like, oh, I sat with this music for a long time. But as always, she's going to give you some bops. Same Love is a song that I really like. What Kind of Love Is That? She only has like one feature, which I think is so dope. Like, she just stands alone. Her voice is enough. You don't need anything else. So definitely get into the Wild Card. Lettucey. That's my soulful pick this week.
Jasmine Sullivan put out a new song. It's called The Lost One. Jasmine Sullivan always likes to, you know, come through and break our hearts and scalp us bald and
then leave.
And then leave.
And leave.
And, you know, make you want to call people you have no business calling. You know, it's really, I love Jasmine Sullivan. I love this song. I'm very excited to see what comes next from her. I think she said it's like an EP or something before the album. I don't know. You can give us both, sis. It's fine.
I would like to see it.
I won't complain. Speaking of gospel, The Gospel According to PJ by PJ Morton. Go ahead and get in your prayer closet with that. I really enjoy it. He's got everybody on here. He's got J. Moss, he's got commission. Of course, his daddy, Bishop Paul Morton, Leandria Johnson, the Clark sisters.
What is it called? The Gospel According to
The
PJ?
Gospel According to PJ. He's got a good
Yeah, I saw
Smokey
that.
Norfolk on there. It's
Ooh,
just
Kim Burrell.
Kim Burrell. He finishes off with Yolanda Adams. I just really, my
That's
church
how you
down
finish
here
it.
is doing a drive up worship service on Sunday. I might have to pull up with that.
What church you going to?
I might be going to the Impact. I stopped fooling with the Impact because
Worship is
the praise and
different.
worship was lacking. But if we just going to get a word in the car,
I used to go to
I like that.
in Atlanta.
You did?
Yeah, we did. We went to Impact for a minute.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was that praise and worship that just sometimes I'll be like, I'm gonna just come at 10:30.
Right.
Right. I don't, I need a choir. Anyway, and then also honorable mention. Tweet came out with a song, Never Felt This Way. It's really,
Did
really
you like it?
I like it.
I haven't listened to it yet.
I like it. It's, where Jasmine gave us like, I'm heartbroken and all that stuff. Tweet was like, I'm very much in love. And I really appreciated that. And Tweet is just a beautiful vocalist. And she has inspired so many. Solange, Tweet is, yeah. Sweet as everything. And then Lil Wayne put No Ceilings on streaming, so I've been having nice nostalgia.
Come on, yes.
Even though it's not the whole No Ceilings,
right? But it still gave us some things. We had nothing. Okay, yeah. We had nothing.
Yeah.
Moving, I have to just touch on this artist, India Shawn. So happy that she's getting her moment. She has a feature with Anderson .Paak. It's called Moving On. And great song, great video. I think Anderson .Paak actually directed the video. She was doing background vocals for Anderson .Paak, so that's why it's kind of really full circle that he went and gave her that feature and just like really pushing her out there, because I remember her being in Atlanta and like just being in a scene with everybody else, and then when she moved out here and like really shit just started taking off for her. So I'm really excited. For this song. It's a great song, and whatever else she has to come for us. I just am happy for real singers, R&B.
Yeah.
I'm happy for music, so we need that right now. So yes, all the R&B.
We do. It can't all be, avocados and bananas. It's the girls like to sing in their accents now and whisper and such. Sometimes you need a good vocal.
Yes.
Television, I don't really have much to get into. I've just been watching Legend of Korra, and that's about it.
I keep hearing about it all over Twitter.
The Legend of Korra is amazing, y'all. If you're into anime, cartoon, if you just like, sometimes I watch those things because I'm watching other things that are very like heavy or, scary, like Lovecraft Country, which is like both, and I just need something happy-ish to watch. And like Legend of Korra has
still adventure.
It's adventure. It has, themes that are very, that parallel to today. Just like the first Avatar did. But Korra be getting her ass beat, y'all. They said Korra was a fire Avatar, and she.
Hope is like Legend of
Korra. I'm sorry.
Listen, but I love TV. That's kind of like my little pastime thing, and what I do by myself to kind of like decompress. Like I watch shows and everything.
What have you been watching lately?
P-Valley. Been watching.
We keep hearing about that. What's going on? What's the tea with the show?
You know why I like it? Because it's real raw. And like, if you've like been in strip clubs in the South, like you're like, oh, like this is real. A lot of times you see stuff on TV, you're like, that is not how it is for real.
Right.
Right.
Don't do that. But like, I'm like, this is pretty real.
Pretty accurate.
I'm like, this how it is in the strip club. And like, this I could totally see a woman like Uncle Clifford running a strip club in Mississippi or wherever they are.
Facts.
It definitely like it works, and it's so raw. It touches on a lot of things that are like I think a lot of TV shows right now are inserting like every pathway of like sexual orientation and gender and all these things, right? Because we're trying to make them more commonplace.
Inclusive, yeah.
P-Valley is definitely that. It talks about a man being attracted to another man who is transgender.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so, but who hasn't completely, I don't even know if I'm using
transition,
who has not transitioned and doesn't
you.
plan to transition and is okay with that identity.
Wow.
So, but then if it's a man who's attracted to this other man,
right.
I'm learning. I'm still learning, guys. And
I'm learning too.
I'm with the culture. I just am still learning. I don't know.
No, and I think that's fine. I think, you know, we are so quick to jump on folks for like saying the wrong thing or not saying things without even realizing like this is such a new concept for so many people.
Everybody.
Like, and people are still learning. People are still trying to understand. I think if someone is just giving a genuine effort to respect it, then
we have to do that. And I that's why I like P-Valley. I'm like, okay, this is an interesting show with a lot of interesting dynamics. And then it's introducing something that's like probably not what the typical demographic that would watch a show like P-Valley is expecting to see.
Yeah, exactly.
So I like that.
Yeah, we're gonna throw a little something on you. You know, we're gonna throw some extra shit in.
She's like, yeah, sure did.
You want to see a whole bunch of ass? That's fine. We're also going to show you some other stuff you might not want to see, but you need to get used to.
Exactly.
Facts.
That's the power of television. That's why I love it.
Yeah. I haven't really been watching. I just, you know, I really was trying to continue watching Lovecraft Country and, you know, staying week to week with everyone, but it is just not something I want to watch right now. Like, I don't want to see y'all running for y'all lives. I really don't.
Child, and they do be running.
Okay? All the time. They always running.
But you know what? On the first episode, I said I've never seen a horror show at that includes Black people, and the Black people are running towards the danger.
Never.
I said, is this a facade? Are y'all really Black?
I was about to say that's a new thing. You know,
I know.
Fearless.
Like we need to
fearless
approach things and not run away.
Come on, somebody with a word.
I like how you brought that full circle. Okay, because it may be, but my Honestly, Black ass
running the other way. Get me out of here,
please. I'm taking off. I ain't never see a fat girl be a track star. Y'all go see it that day. Okay,
you play too much.
The Alice and Felix.
Irritating.
What? I'm just saying, I'm gonna be running, child. They have monsters and all type of folk in there. It's too much. But I have to watch I heard the last episode was really good. I just need to catch up on it because it got too late in the nighttime, and I said I'm not going.
Playing with monsters and things at 10, 11, 12 o'clock in the night.
I can't do that. I won't be able to sleep.
That's all I have. I don't have anything else for what y'all on, so I'm excited. Hope, we got to talk to you, girl. We got to tell us what's going on. So briefly introduce yourself. Like when you tell people, you know, I have this going on, what do you tell people? Because I know it's not just Mary and Maine.
Yeah, definitely not. You know, I think, so a lot of people, of course, know me as the youngest Black woman in the space. And that is a big deal. I forget that sometimes too, but you know, this is a brand new industry. It's still in its infancy. It's probably about, you know, from a legal aspect and, you know, all that, it's probably about really like 10 years old. California has been legal medically for like 20 something years. Yes. But besides California, and the industry is about 10 to 12, I'll give it 15 years old. So we're still really, really early. It's still a federally illegal industry, and it's still legalized only at the state level and only certain states. And then every state has a completely different process.
Set of rules.
All governed differently, and there's no interstate commerce. So the industry is extremely difficult to, one, get into, and then two, to scale in. Because of those reasons. So that being said, you know, and it's projected to be a multi-billion-dollar industry. It's one of the fastest growing industries right now, period, in the world. And that will probably continue until it's one of the largest industries in the world. So this is a big boy game, and the people who are getting in on the legal side of it right now are the people that will most likely end up being the largest market shareholders in the future when it is $100 billion industry.
Right.
The cool thing about this industry too, and the reason I wanted to get into it was because, you know, it's not really a brand new industry, right? Like it's becoming new on the forefront, but like the legacy market, like I like to call it, or like what a lot of people like to call the black market. I just don't like to associate black with bad, but the legacy market, because there's nothing wrong with these people that are selling or growing cannabis on the other side of it. There's nothing wrong with them. It's huge. It's already worth probably $100 billion. You know, there's been estimates on how much it's worth, but you know, it's already there. So we're just converting the market to a legal aspect. And I think that's really cool because it's almost like, it's not a question of if the market will get there, it's just when and how.
Right.
You know, it's already there. So for me, I am focused on building a portfolio of companies within the cannabis industry that will lead me either to being able to one day go public with a holding company myself, or to exit and sell to a larger company and build it, start all over, or I'll go work for that larger entity. We'll see. But you know, that's my goal within the cannabis industry. But who Hope Wiseman is as a person and all that, like I'm a lot more than just cannabis. You know, I've been so thankful that over the past, maybe I'd say 2 years, I've really fell into my purpose, 2-3 years. And I now know that that is to really lead people towards generational wealth and to help people understand the financial literacy that needs to go behind that in order to build and then maintain generational wealth actually through generations. I think a lot of people think they mix up the terms generational wealth with like rich.
Right.
And being rich is great. There's nothing wrong with that. That's awesome. Glad that you are comfortable and secure in your life. That doesn't mean that your great grandkids are going to have anything to show for it.
Right.
So you have to build things that create legacy and that can go on and exist in perpetuity, you know? So I think that is my mission in life, and the cannabis industry is my way of doing it myself.
Right.
And showing other people how to do it. That's the vehicle that's kind of starting my journey. I might not end in this same vehicle, meaning I might not end as the queen of the cannabis industry, like I am so deemed, you know, like I might completely get into something else one day, who knows? But, you know, when I die, I want to be able to say that I helped people create and build and maintain generational wealth.
Absolutely. I love that.
Thank you.
I love that.
So I guess what sparked this interest in cannabis for you?
Yeah.
Because it is such a new industry and, you know, you're one of the first, like what said, okay, I want to start opening a dispensary.
Yeah. So I'll start with saying that like I've always had a relationship with cannabis from an early age, not always. I mean, I didn't come out the womb with the jam.
Imagine.
Like 15, the first time I ever smoked, right?
Same.
That's kind of young. I'm not saying 15-year-olds should go out and smoke. I'm not saying that, but I was about 15. And I just thought it was a little interesting that like I liked, and at the time I was calling it weed. I'll just talk like that.
Yeah.
You know, I liked weed so much compared to like my girlfriends. Like none of my girlfriends really liked to smoke when we were that young. They'd be like, oh, it makes me feel crazy or
paranoid
or it makes me sleepy or it just makes me hungry and all that stuff. And I'm like, all the guys I was around, everybody was smoking, you know, and they loved it.
Right.
For me, I was like, I remember trying to drink when I was young. I was like, oh, I don't like this.
Right.
You know, I was like, this tastes nasty. I don't like how I'm acting right now. I can't remember nothing. I'm about to throw up. I didn't like that. But for me, cannabis just worked really well. And I think it's because I have a high level of anxiety. My brain is like this all day, all the time. I'm always thinking about 1,000 things. Like I think way faster than I talk and all that. So I have to kind of like calm down. So I probably have like ADHD or whatever. So for
maybe.
Me, probably, I don't know. So cannabis just like calmed me down from an early age, but I was still able to perform and execute on a high level. So I didn't feel like it was hurting me. Wherein a lot of people that I knew that did smoke a lot, even when we were young, I was like, oh, they're kind of lazy. you know, like they're a little stupid. But like for me, I was like, I don't, you know, like it's not slowing me down.
Right.
I'm still moving. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was cool, you know, and I think that's why it was easy for me when I recognized. So I went to school for economics.
Mm-hmm.
And also I was in college, all my summers I spent interning at investment banks. And that's what I ended up doing full time after I graduated for a year.
Mm-hmm.
And I had my job offer like my junior year. That summer I got my job offer before I started my senior year. So like my senior year,
nice.
I was like,
zooted.
I already got my
all
job.
I have to do is graduate. Like
that's it.
Literally,
that's amazing.
I just can't get kicked out of school. There's no way I could let my GPA possibly drop low enough. You know, I'm like, I would have to like fail everything.
Yeah.
So I don't even know if I cared about school that last year, but but that being said, my mind was definitely thinking in emerging markets. I always had a passion to build a business. My mom raised me with an entrepreneurial spirit, and she talked to me a lot about building wealth for our family, and how we would do that. And it became very clear just studying other people, we have to build something internally ourselves.
Yeah. Is your mom an entrepreneur as well?
Yes, my mom is a dentist and owns her own dental practice as well as a real estate investor, and now my business partner.
Nice.
Beautiful.
Nice. I love it.
That.
So I think because I had a relationship with cannabis and it was a positive one, and I saw how it really helped me, especially when I got to college, I was anxious, and you know, that anxiety went to a whole new level in college. I was away from my family. I went through a lot of personal things while I was in college, and then college is just hard in general for people.
Yeah.
And I saw how cannabis really helped me get through that and cope.
Yeah.
I didn't need to do, I mean, I started going to therapy and all of that as well, but I mean, cannabis was definitely a part of me getting through that. So all that coupled with like my financial background and just looking in emerging markets and my background in economics, I saw that this industry was going to be one of the largest emerging industries that I would ever see in my lifetime, and that I would have the opportunity to get into at the ground floor level. And I saw the kind of the door slowly closing, and I was like, all right, I need to now
slide in.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, oh, I see what's about to happen. We're about to get priced out. This is going to be, you know, a big boy game. It damn near is already. So this is 2015, I was saying it.
Right.
I'm going to need at least $1 million to try and apply for a license. And I was like, so it's already halfway priced out for us, you know? So I was like, if I wait another 5 or 10 years when I felt like I would have been ready for it, it would have been, I mean, like at that point, this game is going to be, I mean, we're talking about the people who are like $1 billion market caps only are going to be the ones that can really get in and build market share. Now, there's always going to be opportunity to build businesses probably up to like a $50 to $100 million market cap. But these big companies that are going to be like worth $1 billion and or more, the door is closing, guys. Like they're already here. Like it's going to be one of these guys that already exists.
Right.
So that's what really inspired me to get into it. I started seeing cannabis like mainstream on Time Magazine, CNBC, all of that. I was like, all right, people are accepting it. I've been accepted this. I want to learn more about it, and I want to get in at the ground floor level. So that's what got me excited about it in 2014.
That's tight. That's so tight. It's literally, we have a very similar story in terms of our love for it, because I tried it for the first time when I was 15 with some older people, mainly guys, and one of my close older like sisters, I guess. And I always think about that one time, that one moment, and I just like fell in love. I was like, I love this feeling. Like, it's just great, because I have the same sort of like anxious mentality where I'm like always thinking of 1,000 things. I can never close all the tabs in my head. And the one time, it's like weed just kind of sits me down for a second and allows me to focus on a thought, and it allows me to focus on certain things. So I saw early on as well, just like how much of a benefit I could, or how much I would benefit from this. And how, you know, we really, what it was that our parents' generation was, they were spoon-fed like this idea about drugs, like, you know, because of what was happening at this. I mean, it's understandable, you know what I mean? But it's just like, they told you that this is a gateway drug. They told you, because you really don't, unless you have addictive personality, you know what I mean? And you're
I think
like,
I have an addictive personality, and
and
I
you still don't feel.
never wanted to try heroin.
Never in my life. I too think I have an addictive personality.
Do you?
In certain things, you know, when I like something,
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I'm gonna like it. Okay.
That's true.
But
That's true.
yeah, I still, you know, clutch my pearls when people, you know, start talking about cocaine and stuff.
I was about to say, I literally
cocaine?
just thought to myself, I probably should have said cocaine, because heroin is going out there for a lot of people. I've never even wanted to try cocaine, guys.
Same. Yeah.
And I smoke every day.
Yeah. But that notion and that idea that, you know, if you have an addictive personality, then this is the gateway drug, and you're gonna be, you know, a crackhead. And it's just like, oh, okay, well, I guess I shouldn't do weed. I guess
you're such a pothead. It makes you lazy and like.
And granted, early on, like what you said, how some people were very lazy or they smell bad like all the time, like those types of things and those habits, and just also you saying like you were the only like girl, that's what really triggered this thought for me, the only woman or girl at the time in your collective of friends who like really enjoyed it. I felt the same way to a certain extent, just because I mean it wasn't like the cute thing to do. Like now, the way like there's so many girls, they roll up their own joints. Like I don't need no dude to come roll my joint for me. I got me. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's a whole nother space.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm happy that you touched on those things. That's exciting.
Yeah, I remember being younger and thinking that like I would not be able to function like on weed, and that's why for the longest time I stayed away from it. Like I probably smoked, I won't even say smoked, I inhaled twice in high school. Like after prom or something, but I was so like, I have to drive, I can't, you know, and
I think a lot of it is just like, it's like kind of in your mind.
And now I'm like, I can do anything with weed.
People don't get is like, so you can, let's say we're rolling up a J and you hit it and then I hit it. We can have two different reactions because of the way we have receptors that are naturally in our body that, that the cannabinoids and the terpenes that you're smoking are binding to. So we have different levels of these cannabinoids, or of these receptors. And then they balance you out to the point where you're in homeostasis. But like you can also throw it out of whack the other way. So maybe you're here and you want to come here, but you end up there. You know what I mean? And that might be what's happening to you. So you kind of have to find your dose and your method of use, as well as, you know, the type of cannabis it is, because I think a lot of people just have this misconception that you have to smoke, that you have to get the highest THC, whatever, and that you have to do those things. There's so many other ways you can use cannabis as a topical, so that doesn't actually make you high anyway, and it treats kind of the area that you put it on.
Ailments.
Yep, you get right on there. And then tinctures, that's one way. So that would be like an oil that you could put like potentially in a drink, or just directly in your mouth. Edibles in other ways, gummies, treats, all these things, you can do that. There are people have put them in inhalers, suppositories.
Oh wow.
Hold on now.
Because I'm like, you're talking to somebody.
You know, put my asthmatic ass
have different levels of THC in it, or hardly no THC. I mean, like we're learning there's like hundreds of compounds in the plant that we're learning. THC and CBD are not the only compounds in the plant. And just because something is 30% THC doesn't mean, oh, I got you, girl. I can like really tell you. I can send you an email with all this stuff in it.
Oh, seriously?
Because I'm up here like,
I've learned
Google
so
weed
much.
inhaler.
The plant is amazing. We still have so much to learn. And it's really a lot more than what you think, like just getting you high. Even the person that's like, oh my God, I never want to be high. And I'm like, well, look, do you have back pain or neck pain or something like that? Yeah, take this CBD. Yeah, it has 2% THC in it, but you're not going to get high. You're not even going to feel that. If you take this tincture and put it on your tongue, let it sit for 30 seconds, swallow the rest of it, I bet you your pain is going to go away.
Facts. One of our good girlfriends who listens to this podcast pretty often, she gave her mom, I think maybe the ointment. I think it was maybe the ointment for her arthritis, and or maybe I don't want to say that she has arthritis, but she definitely has wrist pain or like, and she couldn't even like open a jar. Like it was just like that bad. She started taking that ointment. She called her and was like, you won't believe this. I opened a bottle of wine by myself. Like that sort of excitement, just from using that once or twice is like, wow. And for our parents to really see that, or like, oh, excuse me, older generations to see that, it's like,
yeah,
beautiful. Excuse
lovely,
me.
lovely.
That's
So,
just a smoker's cough.
To hear their story.
I guess like I know how much of a how involved you are with your community, how much that you care about your community, like we were talking about generational wealth, how eager you were to just even share this information with us about the cannabis industry. I want to know, or I'm curious to know, how you feel you are continuing that work, not just within your particular industry, but just like, healing our community. Be it through, I mean, you could talk about it from that side of things, cannabis, but you could also just talk about it just overall, like, the things that you're educating people with on, and like so on and so forth.
Definitely. When it comes to cannabis, through what the platform we have at Mary Main, we're trying to do some really tangible things, especially in the community that we're in. So we're in Capitol Heights, which is in Prince George's County, but Capitol Heights is it's actually one of the focused opportunity zones in Maryland with
Really?
Baltimore City. Yeah.
Nice.
So, we're like, this area could use a lot of help. There's a food desert in Capitol Heights, so we do a farmer's market weekly.
Nice.
Hosted in our parking lot. We have fresh vegetables and fruits and some other vendors. So like I'm really proud about that. We do also Capitol Heights. Well, Prince George's County has the highest level of HIV and new cases of HIV. And Capitol Heights is, of course, the number one county or number one city within the county that is getting new cases of HIV. So we do free HIV testing. We have a partner clinic that we work with. They come out almost every Friday to do free HIV testing. We give away like little gift cards and all that good stuff.
Nice.
We've been doing voter registration as well. And we are also starting an initiative with a nonprofit called High Five, where we can recycle the actual pop tops, because right now we were recycling them at one point, but then we just actually reached out to the recycling center that we partner with, and pretty much they said that the pop tops from the cannabis, because all the packaging has to be compliant, so pretty much it has to be plastic, pretty much. And they said that the type of plastic it was, they can't technically recycle that in their recycling center. So it ends up going to the landfills anyway.
Wow.
So we found this nonprofit that works with dispensaries. They found the type of recycling center it would need to go to, which is a special type of recycling center. And then also like the stickers have to be, because we put these stickers on it, they have to be taken off and all of that. So there's a nonprofit that does all of that, and they take care of it. They do that whole process that makes it very difficult for dispensaries to actually do, or the patient. And we just partnered with them, and I'm really excited about that. We used to collect pot tops, but then when we found that out, we're like, well, you could just throw it away,
Right.
Anyway.
Right.
Now we figured out a way. So we're trying to find more ways to be green. Those I think are some of like the really tangible things that you can see and touch that we are doing as a company. Me personally, I'm really spending the rest of this year educating myself as much as I possibly can. I know a lot, but you can always learn a lot more, and I'm learning the best way to be able to communicate my messaging and all of that. And starting next year, I'm really going to be sharing a lot more on, on financial literacy, from the very basic level all the way up to, okay, if you're taking the entrepreneurship route, which you don't have to, but it's a much quicker way to build wealth and to build legacy. you know, how to maintain that, and then how to ensure that it can be passed down from generation to generation. And I really want to focus on putting out a lot of free content, as well as building products and services that can help people achieve that. So starting in 2021, you'll probably see a lot more from me outside of cannabis, as well as within the cannabis industry. I'll continue to share tips and, you know, help people as much as I can get into the industry, because I know a lot of people are interested, which is, I completely understand. So I'm
Yeah,
here to
like, yeah, I have some ideas we'll talk off the record about, but yeah, I think that that's amazing. I think that you're doing all of everything, like you said, purpose driven. We started the message today. It's very purpose driven. You've been doing, you know, the work for so many years, and so I applaud your efforts, and I applaud, you know, just what you all are doing within the DMV, which is a special place for both of us.
yes,
Going to Howard, experiencing, you know, working in that area, and, you know, living there for the, like, our formative years. Yeah, for sure.
Last little question. So for that one person that's out there that's like, okay, I want to get into this industry, but how? What's the one piece of advice that you would give them on like where to start, how to start, or, you know, what they could do?
I mean, I have a lot of advice for you,
Right.
whoever you are, but I'd say the first starting piece would be, one, understand the laws and regulations. Do not think that you can just start a business out of nowhere. There's a lot of compliance that goes behind it. Even if you are not touching the plant, meaning owning a dispensary, owning a cultivation center, owning a processing center, even if you're starting a marketing company that's going to try and have cannabis companies as your clients, there's a lot of clients even involved there. You might be wondering, how come no bank will, you know, allow me to open up a bank account here? Because your name is marketing for cannabis. Like, that's why. You know, just little things. So, you know, make sure you understand the laws and regulations, especially if you're going into plant touching. But if not, you know,
even on the other levels, that's crazy. Yeah.
Company, you need to understand. And then two, if I could give two things, is that you don't have to be a plant touching business in order to make money in this industry. And you can start one way and end another. So as long as you make, and that's honestly probably better, especially at this stage of the game, to establish yourself in the industry. It's not easy to raise money. So it's much easier if you have some sort of track record that's relatable in this industry. So if you have to start with an education company, or if you have to start with a marketing company, if you have to start as a security provider, whatever it may be, to get your foot in the door, be able to network and build the connections that you need, there are many other ways to be able to get your foot in the door. You don't have to start out as a dispensary owner, and it really may not be cost effective if you don't have access to capital anyway.
Right.
Thanks. Yeah, I know you said that was the last question, but one more. How are you all operating in the midst of COVID? Like, has it been any
you're essential,
setbacks?
right?
Yeah, you're essential business.
Essential business, so we never had to shut down. And, you know, I think that we just took a lot of the precautions that you've been probably seeing at other businesses that have stayed open. You know, we have plexiglass up. We have limited the amount of people that are allowed inside of the store. We always had delivery. Well, delivery was going to come on board at this time regardless.
Anyway.
But, you know, we have implemented delivery. A lot of our patients still are not used to that yet, though, so they still come. But we were able to implement curbside service, which we were not able to do before.
Gotcha.
And that's really helped. So, you know, now it's just retraining our patients to go online and order ahead and get used to curbside. A lot of them still want to come inside.
Yeah.
It's the experience, you know,
It's still like something shiny and new. Like, wow, I get to walk into the store and it's
they love that.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, that's tight. I'm enjoying my being able to walk into dispensaries and, like, you know, because obviously in Georgia we don't have that quite yet.
No.
I don't know when that could possibly happen for Georgia, but out here, obviously, I enjoy that part of the experience. Like, yeah, it's so cool that I can just get it delivered. I have so many options. It's so accessible. So yeah, it's cool. You're gonna be here soon. But yeah, like just finding innovative ways and like, to really make it normal. It's not a weird, like this whole
It doesn't have to be, taboo. It doesn't have
taboo. That's what I was looking
to
for.
be hidden. Yeah, you can come out of your cannabis closet, guys. No one's So yeah, I think it's exciting. That's why, I share my use. I think a lot of people are surprised sometimes. And I'm like, wow, that's funny. If you really knew me, you wouldn't be shocked at all.
Right.
At all.
But I like that. Like, let me shatter your idea of what a stoner is. Cause I mean, if you talk about stoner just like in the amount of times that you use, I guess I'm one.
Right.
But I have excelled at some of the highest levels, and I continue to do so. And cannabis is not stopping me. If anything, it's helping me.
Absolutely. I love it. Awesome.
So
well,
wonderful.
We like to lead the show supporting Black business, usually women-owned business. So go ahead and tell us more about Mary and Main, any other businesses you might want to shout out.
Definitely. So Mary and Main, you can follow us on Instagram or Twitter at Mary and Main, and it's MaryAndMain. You can find us online at maryandmain.com. We are right now a Maryland medical cannabis facility, so you cannot shop with us unless you have a Maryland medical card. But if you live in the state of Maryland and you're interested in getting your card, if you have, as serious as glaucoma or seizures or anything like that, or as, and this is not serious, but as common as chronic pain or headaches or insomnia, you do qualify for your medical card in the state of Maryland. So if you're interested in getting your card, you can call us or stop by or check out our website for the steps. We can walk you through it if you need help. It's not that confusing, but some people sometimes just need extra help, and we are here to give you a hand. So if you're outside of the state of Maryland and you're interested in learning more about the industry, or you just want to keep up with me and everything that I have going on, if you are interested in financial literacy tips, all that good stuff, you can follow me on Instagram. That is where I'm most active. My Instagram name is I am Hope So Dope, all one word. I'm developing hopewiseman.com, which, like I said, shall be live in January. I share a lot of tips about cannabis. I'm going to begin sharing a lot more about financial literacy and entrepreneurship in general, running a business. And I'm really excited to kind of release some of the projects that I've been working on. One of which is I'm working with two other partners, one of which is a copywriter and the other is a former tech exec, now has a CBD line. We're creating a CBD agency where we can help you from brand identity, naming your company, all that good stuff, to actually sourcing your product and sourcing your packaging, getting your packaging design, all the way to developing your website and your content strategy, and even managing your marketing and content strategy. So our CBD agency is called Leafted. We're hoping to be able to launch in September, maybe October, potentially. I'm sure you guys know what it's like launching new businesses.
Yes.
Trust me, I know.
Yeah, it's a lot. I got a lot going on, guys. So you'll probably continue to see little things like, oh, wow, she's doing that. Oh, she's doing that. Oh, she's doing that. But just know I've been planting seeds for years.
I know that's right.
It's growing right now. That's all that's happening. Leafted coming soon. Mary and Main, if you're in Maryland, and look out for us potentially in some other states coming soon.
Yes.
We're moving over here, and definitely just keeping. If you don't remember anything at all and you want to keep in touch with all the stuff I have going on, just follow me on Instagram. I am Hope So Dope.
Yes, I love
harvest them seeds, sis.
I love it.
I love it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, honestly. Thank you so much. We really enjoyed this conversation. I am a huge fan of women doing amazing things, especially in spaces that were not built for us. Talk about it, because we're welcome anywhere, and that's what I want the theme of this conversation to be. Is like, know that you are welcome at any place that you feel fit. So yes, thank you so much. I want to just spotlight your business this week. Erica, I don't know if you had.
Yeah, no, I don't have any.
Yep.
That was
Awesome.
Yep.
That was it. Okay, great. Well, as always, you guys, make sure you follow us individually. My page is Sammy Approved, and
I'm at Told You So on Instagram and such.
And you can always follow our podcast at Girlfrans Pod on Instagram and Twitter. You can like us on Facebook at Girlfriends Podcast, and go to our website.
Yep, you can mosey on over to girlfrans.com to check out episodes, learn more about me and Samantha here. And yeah.
Lovely.
All right.
All right.
See y'all next week.
Bye.
Thank you, Hope.
Thanks.